Alvarez opened Sips Bar in 2021, and it was named the best bar in the world in 2023. You've been topping the charts ever since. What does that mean for you personally, and what does it mean for the bar?
Well, for me, it meant that our work has been appreciated, and for the bar, of course, it's a nice recognition, but the next day life goes on, you know. And it's important, I think it's more important to know what to do in case you win, rather than just being obsessed with the winning. Because you gotta use that as a trampoline to what's next. If you don't know that clear in your mind, don't bother to be in the charts.
Do you know the Czech bar scene? How does it affect you?
Well, more than knowing the Czech bar scene, I can tell you I've lived the Czech bar scene throughout a person, Alex Kratena. Together we worked together, and have for sure the best time of my working life was in London with him. In those years we learned, I feel like I learned for 20 years in those 5 years. And I also lived 4 lives in those 5 years, I can guarantee that.
This interview was filmed in the Alma Bar and Restaurant. Is this your first time here? How do you feel about this place?
It is my first time in Alma. It's huge. I feel like I get lost every 2 minutes. But the very first things that I felt when I arrived was the approach from the team, you know. And not very often you click straight away the new space, which makes you feel at home, but also makes you feel at your bar. And that feeling is something that you cannot plan it, or it just happens. And the more it happens, the better it is. But so I'm sure that whatever is happening tonight, which is just we're an hour away from it, it will be something remarkable.
Last year you introduced another project, Sips Essentia, to the world. What exactly is it about? What is the concept?
Well, many people think it's another project, but it's actually still Sips. It's still within the same 4 walls. It's simply the space at the end of behind the front bar, let's say. And it's simply behind that because the structure of the bar only allows us to do something at the end of this corridor that separates the front part to the other. Fun enough, Essentia, Sips Essentia, was the very first idea we had in mind to do in 2018 when we were looking for sites together with Mark Alvarez. But then when COVID came, we said, well, obviously we have to slow down. We thought maybe this concept is a bit too much as a first project. So we have to think about coming out with a new idea, which was a drinkery house, the front part of Sips, which is the one that most people know by now. But almost 1 year ago, Essentia was finally ready, and it's been almost a year. And from next week, we will launch the new tasting menu. So Essentia is about a full experience, not just a la carte, having one drink. In fact, at Essentia, we don't do cocktails. We do sips.
You're one of the most respected bartenders in the world, watched by thousands of professionals. What's your view on the future of bartending? What trends do you see in mixology that will be dominant in the coming years?
Well, it's a question that we all get asked in most of the interviews. I think that what you do now will be the future. So whatever you do now will be repercuted over the next few years. So I wouldn't bother much about what's the future. I'd rather pay attention to what we're doing now. All the bar shows, they mention the future, the creativity, the innovation. These 3 words are becoming kind of the commodities for these type of trades. which is exciting. But ultimately, what you do now will be your next 5 years. So, especially for the younger generation, so just focus on what you're doing now and don't worry about what's going to come next. Alex and I, when we were in London, we wanted to make things happen there now, and that eventually became a repercussion or a consequence, and what it was then our future.
Muju liqueurs, of which you are a part, are finally available in the Czech Republic. How do Muju liqueurs help set new trends in bartending?
Muju liqueurs are finally available in Czech Republic, thanks to Sam and the entire team of Phoenix. Well, the beginning was for us to approach the making of this liquid, not using a traditional approach or a technical approach that will come from the liqueur world, not even the bartending world. But instead, we got inspired about how perfumes or the cosmetic criteria are put in place. And that basically, for us and for Muju, opened so many new paths and new doors when it comes to explore and use ingredients, flavors, and obviously, once everything is bottled as a Muju project and you have it behind the bar, that's when the real magic can happen, because it can literally support the creativity of bartenders. And there's so many things that are literally not copy and paste, but there's so many liqueurs already existing out there. You don't need more, unless you create a flavor that doesn't exist. And the criteria of making Mujus is all about that.
Muju liqueurs consist of 3 different products: the Jasmine Vert, the Vetiver GRY, and the Kenoto Nero, which is yours. On the Muju website, all 3 are recommended for Hatchable S. Do you use them in other ways? And how? The
use of Muju is way more wider than just doing a highball, but the reason why we propose that simple option is for the audience to get to know and understand in a very simple and effortless way the potentials of Muju. Obviously, you never know who is looking at it in terms of audience, the website, the recipes, and so on. So it's for me, it's more realistic for us as a Muju team, it's more realistic to propose something simple in order to understand more. And then each of us, each of you, colleagues in the work, can then put a little bit more personal touch in the recipe. But simplicity is something very difficult today, and we aim for it.
I suppose the most important thing about a cocktail for you is the taste. What about all the other things around it? I mean, service, hospitality, atmosphere. How important are they?
It is very important. You mentioned cocktail, and that, yes, for sure the taste is a priority, but overall, within a bar, the cocktail may be 5-7% of the equation. So it is important, of course. Is it more important than hospitality? No. It's an important complement of the entire equation. So if you are good at making people happy, but you're also capable to understand flavors and make decent drinks, it's a plus of the experience.
If we were visiting a Sips Barcelona bar for the first time, which cocktail should we have first? Which one stands out the most in this bar?
Last week, we actually launched an 80% of a new chapter of the menu. So there are 80% of drinks are actually new, and the other remaining part are literally the signature drinks that became kind of famous over the last 4 years. So there are plenty of options. There's only one way to find out, is to come at Sips. But just to drop a few names, could be the Chromatic, the Crypta, the Eau de Monet. But the more I tell you, the less you will explore. So come to Barcelona and we're taking care of you.
That was another episode of the Visit Chef magazine podcast, featuring a conversation with Simone Caporale. You can find all episodes in our archive at visitchef.com/podcast, as well as on all major podcast apps. Feel free to contact us. We'd love to hear from you. We'll be back with a new episode soon, and we're already looking forward to having you with us again.